Nobody's going to sound like anybody else. You have your own unique voice, and so it's important to discover that and to train that. I like to fix. I like to fix things to make them better. My purpose really is to use the gifts that have been given to me to bring joy, to bring happiness to people, and also because it makes me feel good.
What's up, everyone? This is Philip, and welcome back to the VisionQuest Sound podcast show. And today, we're having a conversation about artistry and vision with the singer, songwriter, actress, vocal coach, and mentor, Briana Lyn.
Hi, Philip.
Hi, Briana. Can you tell us a little bit about, I know that you're a singer, songwriter, but you also are an entrepreneur. Tell us a little bit about your business and what you do and who your clients are.
Yeah, so my business is a teaching studio. I started it in 2013. I didn't exactly know how it was going to look. I quit both of my teaching jobs. I was a kindergarten teacher and a choir teacher, and actually also a Yamaha music teacher. Prior to that, when I was leaving those jobs, I thought that I was going to be having people come to me for lessons. A little under 2 months before I started the studio, I found out that the church that I was going to use wasn't able to accommodate me for me to be there. So I had to basically contact some people that I knew and ask around, and a person from high school was giving up some of her students, and she said, would you be open to going to people's homes to teach lessons? And at that point I was like, I just need a job. So I started to travel to people's homes in Minnesota. I got pretty capped out and a little tired teaching about 60 students a week. So I decided to hire some teachers to work for me to help with the amount of students that were coming in, to kind of relieve myself of all the pressure of traveling as much, and also bring resources to other younger teachers that were just starting out of college.
For our listeners who don't really know, it sounds like you have two locations, right? One in Minneapolis and one in Los Angeles. Is that correct?
I have a studio in Minneapolis. My teachers travel to people's homes there. Here in LA, I wanted something more of a boutique, more of a higher end coaching experience. And so I created a studio in my home so that students can come to me. I have recording equipment. I have a microphone, all the different elements to record. So I made my studio here in LA to be much more of a higher end setting for people. And I also started to do online vocal and piano coaching about a year ago to also accommodate people that couldn't come to me. And because of the technology that was available, I thought, why not? Why limit myself to just people that are in my area? If I can find people that are across the country that want lessons and that can't find a coach that they want to work with in their area, why not open it up to online? So I started doing that about a year ago.
Congrats on that. That's really cool.
At times it's scary because whenever you try something new, you're not just trying something new, but the people you're working with are also doing it new. They're opening themselves up to both challenges and risks.
We love what you're doing for the community. I wanted to thank you for contributing an article to our website. If you can just give us some takeaways from 5 Secrets to Unlocking Your Voice.
Yeah. I would say that it's important to have a healthy understanding of technique, how to use your voice, but more importantly, the style of singing that fits your voice, because nobody's going to sound like anybody else. You have your own unique voice, and so it's important to discover that and to train that. But equally, it's important to get out there and just start using that voice, because you sound very different in a room practicing than you do in a live session with an audience listening to you. There's nerves that are involved, and the audience just dictates, in a sense, your feelings, and your feelings then dictate how you're singing. And so it's just a really good buffer to be able to learn how to sing in front of people, because you open yourself up to different challenges than you would if you were just singing by yourself.
So powerful, so true. Thank you for that article. For our listeners, you can find that article. I'll leave the link in the description on this podcast. If you're listening on the playback, it's called 5 Tips to Unlocking Your Voice. And speaking of websites and stuff, Briana, tell everyone where we can go to follow you and learn more about what you do in your company.
So I have 2 websites. I have a website for my teaching studio, and so you can go to www.brianalynstudios.com. It's currently being worked on right now, but it's up and running. And then I also have a performing site as well, and that's more geared into session singing work, because I moved out here to LA to basically pursue session singing.
I think we have to invite you back for a part 2 series to
Yeah.
talk about your artistry. So we'll do that next time. What core values do you believe are necessary for success?
I guess there's been different points in my life where I've given myself a focus and a direction, but I think you're always evolving as you go through life, especially if you own your own business, and especially if you're a creative person, because times are always changing, and so you always have to be adjusting. The truth behind what you do never really changes, like the values and the things that you hold true in your life. It's important that whatever season that you're in, that you have clear direction as to what you're doing. For me, I'm doing a lot more study on the voice, working with a voice lesson company to help them launch their company, and also my own performing. I am working on recordings because those are things I can do at home. So that's my focus, that's my vision right now. Doing more live sessions on Instagram or Facebook, or just doing recordings with other people like you, or collaborating with other guitarists through online sessions, stuff like that. So laser focus, I think, changes, but your purpose as a person, like why do I do all of this? My purpose really is to use the gifts that have been given to me to bring joy, to bring happiness to people, and also because it makes me feel good to use my gifts fully.
We love that about you. And I see that not only on your website and on your social media, but through your words. Let's talk about your voice lessons, because I know that you help artists, singers, and producers. Can you talk about that a little
Sure.
bit?
So primarily, I focus a lot on the foundational elements, because to me, that's really, if you don't have the foundation, then you will always be kind of like floundering. You'll never be confident in your voice. So I really want to just focus on laying really a strong foundation in the elements of singing.
Some singers, I guess, they say, are born with natural talent. Does everyone need a vocal coach?
Well, every singer, I think, needs a vocal coach. Yes, not everyone obviously is called to be a singer per se. I think everybody could benefit from singing lessons because from a holistic standpoint, everybody has a voice. Everybody uses their voice, their speaking voice, even their singing voice. And I see so often public speakers there's people who have really raspy voices, yoga teachers I hear, and it drives me absolutely crazy actually, because I hear it and go, oh, if only I could help train their voice so that they're not speaking with such a low tone. They're raising their voice up. But they just get so used to it because of the habits that they've built, and they're yelling and using it improperly. So I have a lot of empathy, obviously, but also a lot of inner turmoil when I hear voices that don't sound healthy, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So that's one of the reasons why I do love what I do, because I like to fix. I like to fix things to make them better.
The yoga, the speakers. I need help on public speaking.
Okay.
So we're going to have to talk a little bit later. Maybe that's an upcoming episode or something.
Sure.
And the raspiness, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
We need to talk about this.
Yes. Yeah. So going back to your question, I think everybody can definitely benefit from singing lessons, and singers definitely, if you are wanting to sing at all, you should train your voice, because the worst thing that could happen to you is you lose your voice because of unhealthy habits, which I hear very often. And I mean, some of the really great singers of today, even, they've had many vocal surgeries. The vocal cords are so tiny. They're such a small muscle, and yet they're used almost more than anything else in our body, to speak. So it's really important that you keep them healthy with proper diet, nutrition, and physical health, physical things that you do. So.
As a music producer, I also produce and record a lot of singers. Now I know who to connect them to, Briana.
Good. I would be happy to work with them.
If there's a common challenge that you see your clients have when they come to you, I know everyone's a little bit different, but what would that be?
Breath control. Very often, a lot of people just run out of breath, especially if they're not trained at all. And so that's one of the biggest things that I really focus with students is how to sing on your breath instead of letting your breath leave you. I always think of the image of being on an airplane and how the airplane is what's taking us from one destination to the next. It's not us. We're sitting inside or on the airplane, so to speak, and going with the airplane. Well, our breath is the same thing. We're using our breath to go from one tone to the next. We're not pushing the airplane, but we're sitting on the breath or on the airplane, so to speak. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Gosh, now I really want to take one of your lessons because I love this. I'm a visual person, and I'm sure many of our listeners are too.
Yeah.
Somewhere in this world, there's a little girl. She's watching YouTube. She wants to do what you do. What advice can you give to her?
She needs to just start. The biggest thing that holds people back, I think, is we see people doing something and we think, oh, I could never do that because look, she's gone through A to Z to get to where she's at. You can't get to Z unless you start with A. Start using the resources that you have, going on YouTube, finding songs that you enjoy singing. Getting a teacher to work with is key for that. Since I started taking voice lessons when I was 4.5 actually, I believe the importance of having a teacher even as young as 4. So, get out there. I used to sing at churches and nursing homes when I was young.
Let's let everyone know where we can go to follow you.
Sure. So my stage name, my performing name is Briana Lyn. So it's BrianaLyn. And my studio is brianalynstudios.com. So you can find more information about my teaching. My performing site is brianalyn.com, BrianaLyn.com. And then, of course, if you just go to those on social media, you should be able to find me as well. I'm on Instagram, of course, Facebook. I also have a TikTok account, which I'm just beginning to do. So if you go to Briana Lyn Music on TikTok, you'll be able to find me there. So
wow, you are all over the place. Briana, thank you for doing what you do and for being on our show. Get in touch with Briana Lyn if you're a singer, songwriter, artist, producer, or just need some help with your voice. Check her out, Briana Lyn.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Philip.